There he is.
How are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
Hanging in there.
Well, that's good.
You guys are keeping busy.
Absolutely. We're trying to see the world.
Yep.
How about up north? Doing well up there?
Oh, the weather's been just up and down, up and down. We have a couple of nice days. In fact, the other day we hit 87, which is ridiculous
Up in Minnesota?
in Minnesota, and now it's down in the lower 50s,
Okay.
but no snow, so we're satisfied.
And so you can see the ground?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Actually, we had a pretty easy winter up here. We had 1 week of cold weather, but other than that, it was really nice.
Good. Good. Okay. All
I
right.
think maybe you guys had more snow than we did. I'm not sure.
Uh, that's strange if that happened.
Yeah, I
Because
know.
most everything's going north of us or south of us, or it's just not hitting us too much, but we've gotten hit somewhat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had our first event this last Saturday, so that was kind of nice.
Good. How was your turnout?
Pretty good. We had 14 cars.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
That's not bad at all.
Oh. And when was the last time you guys got together?
Oh, we had a couple of small picnics with, like 6 or 8 couples, something like this. But other than that, a club event was back in February of 2020. That was our last meeting.
Oh my gosh.
So it's been a long time.
It sure has. It sure has. Tim Punk should be coming on.
Hello, how are you?
That's not, whoa. We lost him.
I'm getting there. Probably turn the,
Hi, Tim.
there it is. Had to turn the volume down for, there you go. Hello.
Hello.
Make this bigger for you. There you go. Have a good meeting.
You're not going to join us?
No, I got some couch time. It was a rough day at Teacher Appreciation Day.
Oh, I bet that. Yeah.
Definitely not appreciated. Oh, gotta love a 9-year-old.
Oh my.
So she's the computer expert. So
Ha.
when it comes to these kind of things, I'll tell you.
All right. So we got Larry here. Wait a minute.
Larry.
That's Kate. We got Kate Graham.
Yeah, that's me. Can't you tell?
Everybody's waiting. So we
Yeah.
got Scotty.
Better.
Oh, I'm just gonna stay Laura. So
Yeah.
this is actually her computer from school. So
Hey, whatever works. Oh,
Yeah.
there's Kate and Larry Graham.
Yeah, that's what I said. I changed it. So
how's Minnesota, Cliff?
Pretty good. How about you?
Pretty good.
Got enough to do?
Oh yeah. Oh. Remember those days when you worked and did all your social things?
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
it's getting to be more and more of a memory.
Yeah,
I'm happy to say,
that's nice.
oh yes, it's nice.
I'm still waiting for my 5 to 7 years before I can decide to not do so much at work. So yeah.
Next year makes 10 years. That's unreal.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So
All right. Where's the president and where's Scotty?
Yeah. I was wondering how Rod would do because he said something to the effect that he's usually done them by phone instead of computer, but who knows?
Hmm.
Maybe with Tim's instructions, he can get it work.
We'll find out.
I just finished one with the city again.
Oh boy, yeah. How's that? Are they still trying to put that big apartment complex in there?
No, this is a different thing, but I'm on what they call a neighborhood executive committee,
Yeah,
which supposedly keeps the old areas vibrant. At
yeah.
least that's their thought. But I think all they do is meet to meet, and we never seem to get anything done, you know. I try.
Yeah.
Very nice job on the newsletter.
What's your background, Tim Dorr?
What's my background?
Yeah.
I sell insurance.
No, I mean,
Oh, what's my background?
yeah, you know,
My
you've got,
virtual background? That's called Blur.
oh, yeah, I can see that.
That's it. BLUR, Blur.
One of the presenters tonight had the downtown Overland Park clock tower and all that, you know,
Oh, yeah.
and I don't know whether it was his computer or the signal strength, but every once in a while he'd shift his head and he'd become a clock. It's just like you can't quite figure out who's who here, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's like now you have no legs.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one.
At least I've got pants on.
Yeah, well, yeah, not necessary, you know.
You kind of look like a monk.
Well, I got cold, so I've been down in the basement, and you just can't sit down there forever.
Yeah. I know.
Oh, man.
I wrap up in when I go down there.
So I slipped on a Rocky Mountain sweatshirt.
All right, here's comes Scotty. There he is.
Oh. No, he's not connected yet. So.
Scotty,
Yes,
Hello.
there he is. All right, so where's the Prez? He's the only guy that we're missing right now. And it's 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Well, we're waiting on. Oh, Rod.
Hi, Kate.
Hello.
And man's best friend. I don't know his name.
There's the boss, huh?
That's the boss, yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
for Rod, I've got email address, but I don't have a phone number. Anybody got a phone number that can
Yeah.
get a hold of him, text him?
I'm looking. I'm not sure if I have him in my phone or not. Find out. No, I don't have it.
Okay. 2 down.
I don't have it.
I don't have it.
Oh, no.
Let's see if I got it downstairs.
You have a Kate?
Do what?
You have
No.
his
I'm
phone
sure-
number?
I don't even have to look. I don't have it.
Oh,
Well, it was a beautiful day here in Kansas City
Yeah.
area.
Cliff was telling me how nice it was up in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had 87 the other day.
Oh my gosh.
Gosh.
You were sweating.
And the next day was 67, 20 degrees colder.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I've got a phone number for Rod in the Scoop.
Oh yeah, that could work. I'm not sure if it's cell or landline, but you could try.
Scotty, you want to try 316 722 2028?
All right, I'm trying.
You did that in about 5 yards in a row.
Not getting any answer. And no machine yet either.
Okay.
I tried that number. I tried to text that number and I think it said that was a landline.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No answer.
Disappeared on me now.
Well, if he comes on, I will probably see that he's in the waiting room. So, Scotty, you want to take charge and move forward?
I can. My plans were anyway, was just to take this list of committees that I sent everyone, go down through it, ask anybody's opinion. First off, if the chair is on the meeting here with us, we'll let them make their comments of what they need or the help they need or what's been done. So I guess we start with publicity. And that's Tim Dorr right off the bat.
Hey. We're ready to go. So anytime we can get some information, I guess it kind of gets down to what we did last time in 2016, Scotty, is, if you'll recall, is we just used a generic pink background and said, save the date, and sent that off to the Scoop. And then we started getting information later on about a logo and information like that we sent in later on. So we can do the same thing, or I think the first one is due no later than July 1st. So we've got, 3, 4, we got 7 weeks left. So I don't know if we want to defer to Kate and Larry about how they are doing with their pulling the logo together, or what do you think we ought to do?
I think we just make your plans to go ahead, have something by July 1. Because that gets us in immediately after the international, if it's held. I was going to discuss that a little bit too, because Portland and Oregon are back on extreme lockdown again as of last Friday, I think.
Oh,
They're limited to gatherings of 6 people outside and so on. I see Renee Steffens, when she was at the spring drive, she made the comment, she got a picture there, and she said she was surprised that they still thinking about having a convention the way the lockdowns were. She said that probably is the strictest state right now that there is. So I was hoping Rod gets on it, maybe he's heard something or whatever, because
I can tell you what,
go
I
ahead.
can tell you what's been going on between the regional directors. There's been some question as to whether to hold it or not. I really think what the issue is right now is financial, in that it's early enough out that if the Northwest region or the club calls it off, they're stuck with financial issues with the hotel.
Yes.
If we wait until closer to the thing and then it's still in lockdown, then, the paragraphs will come into play and there's not that financial responsibility. But they can't call it until, really close to the thing, close to the event.
I was figuring if it's kind of like our contract, probably into June or so, or close to 1st July before they can call it, not have any financial responsibility.
Without a date, I'm guessing the same thing, Scotty. But I know Tom comment the other day was 4 months to go. We just can't make that decision.
Yeah. What I was reading on the internet is no inside dining, I think, now outside, and then it's limited to 6 or 8 people and so at a group. And I would, even if they open up, I bet they aren't able to have most of their tours.
Correct.
So,
Well, then a lot of the regionals are, it sounds like we're going to be real lucky to even get a quorum for a meeting,
right.
for a board meeting, I mean.
Well, I think that's fine, Tim, what you have got. We can always use a generic background if we don't have a logo by then, by July 1, when we've got to submit this, but that'll get us in, then we definitely will have something for the next issue of the scoop after that.
okay. Well, July 1st, which issue is that for? Is that for the
September, October.
September, October? Okay, okay. So at least that's a save the date kind of a thing. And
Right.
we can move forward with that. And I know that the logo is down further in your list, so we can find out what Kate and Larry's come up with. Based on
Right.
that, we talked with them 2 weeks ago when we did the spring drive, and we sat at the same table as Kate and Larry. So we've got some idea of what we had at that point, but they may have formalized and gotten it more squared away than we had back then. I mean, it was just kind of brainstorming more than anything.
The other thing I had on my list, do you need a contact from the other 2 clubs? Sending advertising to, or does Cliff and Rod, since they do the newsletters, do they want to be that contact?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I kind
Okay.
of figured both of you probably would.
Okay, Good. So we got Cliff.
Answer positive also. Registration then, moving on. Cliff is going to handle this with all his expertise, and he and I discussed a few things the other night. So Cliff, why don't you tell us your thoughts on registration, what you're planning to do, and whether you, as you talk to me, where the registration coming to, and what about the money and so on.
Okay, I've already got the spreadsheet kind of set up. It's one that I had used a couple of years ago. All I need is new headings, you know, as far as the tours and all that. And of course, prices and all that, but we can fill that in easily enough. I've got one couple from my club that plans on coming down so that they would help us at the registration table if need be. And it looks like we got some, at least one volunteer from the Kansas City group working with us. I think it'd be nice to have more than just Pat and I at the registration table.
That was my feeling. I think if we
Yeah.
had familiar faces from each of the clubs there, especially the first
Yeah.
couple of days on
Right.
Wednesday and Thursday when the main
Yeah.
people. And
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
we'll need Rod to assign some people to that.
I'll have everything ready to go as far as sending out letters telling the people, you know, that, hey, I got your registration and this is what you volunteered for, or not volunteered, but signed up for, so on and so forth. I've got all that lined up.
Good. What Cliff, not tell him what we talked about the other night about the financial end of it. The money you're collecting, where it's going to get deposited.
Okay, I thought that was more on the silent auction.
Well, we was talking about the checks coming in for the tours. and the
Oh, I'm
registration.
sorry. Yeah. What I was expecting to happen would be the registration, or not, yeah, the registration that goes out in the newsletter, the scoop and so forth that everybody fills out and sends back in. It will tell them to send it to me, but it's, the checks and everything will be made out to the Kansas City Club, I'm assuming.
Yes.
And that what I would do is whatever you want, whoever the treasurer is of this function, I can bundle up the checks and send them down to you ever so often, whether it's every week or every 2 weeks, so that we can keep abreast of that.
We kind of, rest of you there, we kind of felt this would be good because probably Kansas City is going to be writing all the checks for the expenses.
All right.
So it'll be local here. So that we do have the funds all in one place to pay those bills.
Would that be probably using Elaine, our treasurer, or do you have some?
I figure it'd be Elaine.
Yeah.
It was last time in 16, or Kate, Jenny or Elaine won. I forget. Was Jenny still active then?
I think Jenny, that was her last big hurrah. I believe.
I think so.
Jenny did that.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, Elaine's more than capable. She's, and the bank is right there too. If anything goes wrong, she can go over there and
right.
take care. So.
Okay.
Anything else on registration?
On Cliff, on what you've put together, have you filled in or penciled in the freebie night at the hotel? And if you get it in by such and such a date, you get so many votes. And I assume we were still doing that, or yes or no? Are we doing that or not?
Yes. Well, I was told that we were, and Larry has sent me a copy of what you had last year.
Okay.
last convention, so I know the wording and all that. And I'll double check the dates with you before it goes out.
Okay,
Sounds good. I guess we'll move on to the banquet then. That's my wife and I and Tim Dorr and his wife. We'll be making contact with the hotel, and I've got their price list and their menus for their banquet meals. We'll just have to confirm the pricing. It's going to be a year out still, so it could change on us, but we'll just price for that. We'll put a little cushion in. We'll have to have our choice of meats or entrees, and then we'll come up with a price. We'll also come up with some table decorations after we know our theme and logo, which we'll provide. The only thing we may need additional, other than the four of us, is if we need additional help during setup that day. Otherwise, we should be able to take care of all the rest of it. So I think that's handled. We'll just have the pricing in time for you, Cliff, to bring
Okay,
it right straight. And also choice of entrees. The hospitality room, at our last drive, I pushed Sandy Logan and told her I had a favor of her, and she may hit me afterwards. But anyway, I asked her if she would share the hospitality room, and she said she would, and then she hit me. But anyway, she said, that's going to be tough for me. I said, I'm in Nebraska. And I said, yes, but you can still help set it all up. And we'll get a contact from each of the clubs for you to make one contact so we can let those clubs know what's going on. My wife said she'd be the contact, be a co-chair. You might call it a co-chair from Kansas City. I think Cliff told me the other night, Pat could probably be a contact with their club.
right.
And Rod will get somebody from him. He's already given us 4 names that said they would serve on this committee. So
Yeah, I bet Lisa
Main-
would be that person.
probably the main
wanted-
thing where I think we want those names for is we're going to keep in contact with the hotel and see what their rules are by the health department, state, county, city, everybody, to whether we can bring in outside food or if it all has to be prepackaged food when we bring it in. And hopefully a year from now, it'll be released to where maybe we can have some home baked goods and stuff as we did in 2016, which went over great. But this will just allow us to have a contact with each one of the clubs to keep them informed so they can plan on what we need to bring. But this group will end up putting together a suggestion of things to serve, amount of pop needed, water and so on. And a group of us from Kansas City will go out and purchase all that so it doesn't have to be hauled in from the other clubs. Any other suggestions or ideas from previous conventions you think we need to think about in the hospitality room?
One question I had was, in 16, we had a couple of inside vendors in there. Did we want to pursue anything like that, or just kind of wait and see what happens closer to the time? Or
We could do that. I'd probably fall under, hospitality room, but also silent auction people would have to work with them to sort of set up, I think. And
exactly, yeah. And it might fall under the publicity or whatever I'm chairing over there on the last page, because as I send out information to people, they would probably be somebody who may ask if we have vendors at the convention or whatever. So, and I know myself and my little Thunderbird memorabilia stuff, I could have that there. So that would be one small table of items. And Rod had mentioned having something from
should be
VTCI.
plenty of room in that hospitality room.
There is. It worked out nicely last time. Yes.
Yes. Well, let's move on to the show field then. The committee for this, Leonard Samples agreed to take it on again. And this committee will all be from VTKCs because we can get there earlier the first day and help set up. And so we've got a list of people, and if we need more help, we'll recruit it as far as setting up the field, putting out the numbers, assigning the spots. The main thing we're going to need from help from all three chapters is if we do the overnight security, we'll need people to sign up for probably, was it 3-hour shifts we had on that during the night?
I forgot whether it's 2 or 3.
Yeah. So I think we want to do that again.
Yes.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Do you have in mind what you want as far as marking the parking space? In 2018, I laminated some plaques, if you want to call them that. We taped them to the pavement then for each car location. I can do that again, or I can,
That's what we did, and we have a laminator, so we're in good shape there. And we've kind of got I assume Leonard's probably still got a layout. If not, we can come up with it again pretty quickly. So it'll just be a matter of, making the logos as they, or the placards as we get them registered and get them marked.
And if you remember in 16, we fixed the laminated sheet to a board so it wouldn't blow away if it did come in.
Well, I've forgotten that. That's right. We did. Yeah.
That worked kind of nice. So.
I
We
checked
did.
with Leonard, they all went in the dumpster that night or the day when we left.
Yeah, most of
Did.
I still got the ones that were by my cars, but
They,
Well, it probably
think
shouldn't
it-
take over a couple $1,000s worth of wood.
yeah.
yeah. Somebody come along stealing the placards just for the wood. We could, I think we could do it with laminated and tape, and probably would benefit us if we had a leaf blower down there just to clean the area where we're going to tape them down, get rid of the dust and the dirt and small rocks, they'd stick better, which
Yeah.
wouldn't be an issue. So I think I'll let Cliff and Larry work that out between them. As
okay.
Cliff would like Larry to laminate them. You don't have, that's that much less stuff you have to haul down or do.
Oh, I'm not worried about that.
So be up to the two. of
I
them.
got a trailer.
Yeah.
You can bring the
Uh,
sink in the trailer. Huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to the hospitality room, there's one thing I was thinking about. Guys from Kansas City, remember last year we hauled in those big tubs and I popping water down in them?
That's right.
And it didn't work too bad, other than I think it used a lot of ice. I think if we could get a whole bunch of ice chests, I think we'll use half the ice that we did last time.
Yeah.
So we might think about that. We can put the word out to our club to get the ice chests we can and stuff. But I think that'd probably work better. We could put a sign on them that there's diet pop or what there is in each one of them, and then they won't be opened and everything quite so much.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. We should be able to get the chests from our club here, I think, so people won't have to
Yeah.
go in. So,
Right.
Scotty,
Yes.
how much ice did you use? How many bags of ice did you use? Do you know?
I don't know, but I know that they were going and getting 10 or 15, 2 or 3 times a day, it seemed like.
Okay. Okay. Well, with it open, you're certainly going to run through the ice a lot faster than a closed vessel that you got.
They were a
Yeah.
little job to drag out and dump them after it was all over.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Okay.
Moving on to the judging. First question, Cliff. Did you have a chance to talk to Randy Matson?
No, I haven't done that yet, but I will.
Okay.
But I know even if he's not the assistant chief judge, he will be voting or judging, I should say.
Okay,
We'll have a number of people judging from here.
good.
That's good.
And how many people does it take in the tally room? You've been there several times, so.
Yeah, well, I just wrote a note down here. Besides Cindy Masson, who would be the leader, we need 4 or 5 people to handle the rest of it.
We've got,
I told Cindy that I would be available also.
we've got 3 people already that stepped forward and volunteered to work in the,
Oh, I think we're in good shape.
down here. And so I didn't know whether we need to
Yeah, we're in good.
add some more or not, but for the rest of you, Cliff talked to Cindy Matson, and she has worked at it several times before, and he offered to help her if any help there to lead the tally room. And he's gonna talk to Randy Matson about being the assistant chief judge. Jim Reed said he would do it if they couldn't get anybody else. So I think we'll just have to come up with more judges down here, but I think lots of times you will get those at registration and by twisting some arms during the days leading up to the judging on site.
Well, long before that day, we will have the list put together. You'll know how many cars has to be judged.
That's right.
Oh.
I know in 2018, we were surprised that there wasn't that many cars judged.
Yeah.
People were going to, just.
Yeah, they all wanted to drive him on the drive, I guess, and didn't want to clean him up afterwards.
Exactly.
Well, in 16, I think we had about 60 judges, didn't we, Tim?
I think so.
Yeah.
And I don't
think
remember
about-
having a trouble with judges, did we?
No, I think we found the judges at the time.
Yeah, I kind of thought so too.
But yeah, I think Leonard said we had 94 cars registered, about 60 of them or a little better were judged.
Yeah.
So. Well, moving on then to tours, which Rod hasn't joined us or anything. I don't guess, has he, Tim?
No, don't have anybody here yet.
That's the main one we needed to talk about tonight, or to at least let him know that we've got 2 couples from Kansas City that have volunteered besides Tim Punt, or Tim was contacting Galen, and Richard Honeycutt agreed, and Weston Janice Norman came to me and offered to work on the tour committee down here, especially during the tours to help with that. So.
Yeah. I can always be a backup, but I think both of those couples and Rod, and if there's anybody from Cliff's Club or Wichita that would join in just to give that perspective, I think that'd be a good group. So
I'll try to get somebody to do that.
Yeah.
okay.
Just, I think Rod's throwing out a few suggestions, and I've killed 2 or 3 of them because the places aren't in existence. Just members would ask about,
Right.
so.
I can run down what I know that's been thrown out, and you can kill him, or you can give a thumbs up or take note and pass it to Rod if you would like. But so, well, first, and most of this has come from Kansas City, or one of them especially has come from all 3 clubs. So we at Kansas City, we were talking about doing the Truman Library, Truman Home, and downtown Independence Square area as a tour. That would probably be mostly an all-day tour. Then from all 3 clubs, everybody likes the Steamboat Arabia Museum, which we've had in the past, but not in the near not in the near past. So, and Gayla thought that that was a really good idea as well when I spoke with her. So, because it's something to be revisited, and they changed some of the displays and all. First, I thought that they were closing, but they're not closing to until 2026. So we've got some time to get in there again and enjoy that one. The World War I Museum at Liberty Memorial was also suggested. And then we also have talked about going back to the Armacost Car Museum for like an afternoon tour, and maybe with a dinner or something there. They have a big banquet room. We'd have to see what could be done there. We'll just have to see how a dinner tacked on the end of that would be, but I know Rod was pretty excited about that as well. If you remember, in 2006, we went to that museum.
Right.
And it is really high quality, high class cars there, lots of Studebakers, but also other things. Those are the ones that stick in my mind that have been discussed the most. So was there anything else, Scotty, on the list that you got from Rod?
Larry and Kate, what was the other mansion in Independence that you brought up to me?
The Wagner home and the Trails Museum, Frontier Trails Museum.
Yeah.
Yeah, the idea of the Wagner home, I think, sounded good to me. If they was going to Independence, so you'd have variety instead of Truman home, do the library and the Wagner home maybe or something, be a difference besides lunch on the square or something for an.
It might, we could check. I know the Truman home limits the number of people in at a time. So you might get into a time frame, depending on how many people signed up for it, getting them through, you know.
Yeah.
The Wagner, we'd have to check. I'm sure they probably got a limit, but I think they also run more tours.
Yeah. And just a note about the Truman Library, they have are just completing a whole remodel and update to the building and the exhibits and everything. So it'll be a fresh museum with all new exhibits. So that would be something interesting if we choose that one. So.
I agree.
Scotty, how many tours do we need?
Well, I guess that's something to leave up to the tour committee. I had suggested to Rod to have one full day of tours and a day on their own. He thinks we need to have at least a day and a half of tours.
Yeah, that's what I've heard from
People come in from out of town. That's what they want to see.
Yeah. That's why
I would look at the idea of, if you did the Truman Library and Independence Square and all, maybe that could be a full day tour. And then one of these other events and some time on their own could be a half a day or 4 or 5 hours or something, not be full day tours.
Right. That's why, like, either Steamboat Arabia or the Armacost Car Museum could be an afternoon tour, and there, there's your day and a half, and really we only have Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
And
That's right.
Usually the board meeting is Thursday morning.
And we don't want to start anything before about 10:30 or so on Thursday morning on account of the board meeting.
Yeah, you really can't. They get pushed if you do that. We probably should try to stay more about 1 o'clock, 12:31 to start, because that gives them plenty of time for their board meeting. I don't know how much they're going to have, but
I think Rod was asking for at least 8 to about 10:30 if they started the meeting at 8. But when we've had some of those where it's 9:30 or 10 that they started the tour, they barely got out of board meeting if they did.
right. Yeah, they need to allow time for people to talk and all, because I know
They got some new directors this time. May take more time for them talking. So. Well, that, I think we need to leave the tour part up to that committee.
Yeah.
But it sounds like we need to do something on 2 days.
Okay,
It's-
okay, good.
So if you have a tour Thursday afternoon, would you have like a welcome party, if you will, or whatever? You know, a lot of times when we have people come in, like on Wednesday, they have a little get together, a welcoming session. Are you planning anything like that?
Well, that'll be discussed. We did that in 16 on Wednesday night, wasn't it, Tim, the first night?
I believe it was, yeah. We had
I
a
think it
pizza.
was on Wednesday night.
Yeah,
We brought in pizza and cake
Yeah,
up and had it in the hospitality room there.
yeah.
I would think that,
Dependent on what we could get from the hospitality, you know, at that time, what they allow us to bring in.
Right.
I might suggest that you skip that entirely, as long as, you know, let people come in Thursday morning so that they're in there by 1 o'clock for the tour. You know,
Yeah. Well, and if the hotel is doing what they want to do, they would have a little reception anyway at night with a couple of free drinks. That's their offering at the Embassy Suites. So
And what, that was in 16. They're hoping to get back to that's what they told me.
yeah,
so would they do that, what, Wednesday night or Thursday night?
it's every
The
night.
hotel does
Oh,
that
every night? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And they have a full cooked breakfast under normal conditions.
Yeah.
So,
I think, we should take advantage of that and just forget about any kind of exception, you know, from the club.
Well, it sure keeps the cost in
Helps with-
check when we do that.
Right,
that's the
right.
cost.
Yeah,
You know,
Well, that's,
About,
remember last time we had the Friday tour was to the TWA Museum,
yeah,
a catered meal in there.
yeah, yeah.
Something like this Armacost Museum, if that worked out and you could have something catered there for supper, that'd be something for either Thursday or Friday night, whichever one we did that. And then maybe the other night just be on their own. We wouldn't have
Yeah,
meals Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, all three, but
yeah.
we
that
could have
sounds
2
good.
out of the 3 nights.
Yeah. And I believe I talked to Rod about this, that Armacost Museum. I think our best contact for that museum is Bob Young out of Iowa.
Probably is.
He's had a lot of contact with them over the years, and he has gotten the Little Bird Club in there recently within the last year and a half, I believe. We had a local contact, but the person has since dropped out of our club, so I don't really have that contact anymore. I do have a phone number I can call myself if everything else falls through. But other than that, I think that's where we ought to start for that.
Well, Rod or I or you, I'm sure, can get a hold of Bob and
Yeah.
him to make that contact when we decide what we want to do.
Yeah.
Silent auction then. The chair from last time said she not want to do it this time. But at our previous drive we had about 6 weeks ago, one of our members from Iowa came up to me after I talked about it at the picnic shelter. After we had our drive, she come up the end of it. She says, "I'll take on the silent auction and be your chair of that." She's done this many times for motorcycle clubs that her and her husband have belonged to. So she's ready to run. She asked me the other day if we had anything lined up on it already. And I said, too early. But anyway, she threw out a new idea to us. And I think I've told some of you, and I mentioned to Cliff the other day. She said she's found that she thinks people bid better on the silent auction if rather than writing your name down on the list, you run it like a regular auction. People have a bidder's number and you write your number down. That way you don't know who you're bidding against.
Yeah.
That's her idea of maybe, and we can talk about it, but see what everybody else thinks. That's the way has ran them several times before. And she felt that if you had two friends bidding on the same thing, that one of them would drop out just to not upset the other one. Unless they tell each other their numbers, you don't know who you're bidding against. You'll find she wants to have a table set up that you register for your number, or if we put the numbers for the two couples or for the couple and put two numbers in or whatever in their registration packet. And we already know who has those numbers and go from there. We could do it either way, I think.
Yeah, that sounds like an easy way to plan ahead.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, and her husband said he's worked a 50-50 several times before. Cliff also told me that a couple that used to be in their club that's in Texas now, he probably a good chance they'll be at our convention. He said they like to work that too. I'm not good at names, Cliff. You can tell me who it is.
That Dennis and Judy? Or?
Pardon?
I said, is that Dennis and Judy?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, and for Cliff's benefit, I was going to say the people that Scotty's been talking about to chair the silent auction and the 50-50 is Scott and Renee Steffens, which is Bernie and Marcia's son.
Oh, okay.
Remember that? Yeah, they've since joined our club last year or the year before even, I believe. And then actually Scott was telling me they moved out to the farm and they've got he's trying to get all the cars going again and everything. So he had 2 or 3 Thunderbirds himself, which we never knew that. But,
No, we didn't.
yeah. Anyway, so we've enjoyed getting to know them. So
and they've become pretty active, and it's an extra 2 or 2.5 hours longer drive than it is for me to go to Kansas City these meetings. So I think that is pretty well taken care of, unless you had any other suggestions, Cliff, on why don't you tell them about your thoughts from your board member?
Well, I haven't confirmed this with my board yet, but how would it be if my club could guarantee like $500 or $600 in silent auction items? We could collect them here and I can bring them down. I would talk to Renee as far as, where would she expect the gifts? Does she want a list of what we've got, so on and so forth? I'm sure I could work with her on that. But what if I make the commitment that we would bring down a trailer full of silent auction gifts?
Maybe you'll have to buy a bigger trailer.
This way you're not putting pressure on your membership all the time. And to donate and so on.
I told Cliff that I like that idea, but we still will maybe not put pressure on, but ask for our members to bring it, because the silent auction was our moneymaker.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we know.
It was made last time.
Yeah, we made money on that too.
So,
and we've got, I don't know, Scotty, if you've heard from different members locally or not, but I've heard from a couple of the ladies who are interested to make up different baskets with things in them or whatever for the silent auction. And a couple of the ideas sound really interesting. So people are thinking about it.
good.
I'm sure we'll have more than enough.
Yeah.
I'm gonna run that by my board and see if I can make that commitment.
Okay.
I'd say we were pleasantly surprised at the number of items we came up with in 2016, out of money it all drew. Now we're down to theme and logo. We'll turn it over to Larry and Kate.
Well, Tim, jump in here too, Dor. If you,
Okay,
Tim, we threw out a bunch of ideas, and Cliff, I don't know whether Scotty shared any of these with you earlier or not, but we've got
I have
about,
not.
No,
okay. Well, let me just list what our ideas were, and then Tim and I kind of tell you what we all discussed last weekend. Being lazy, my first one I came up with was just using the one we did in 16, going to Kansas City, but make it going to Kansas City 22. Then we've got Thunderbirds of Oz, which is kind of on the Wizard of Oz theme, but it's an old Kansas thing where the Oz is A-H-H-H-H-H. Show Me Your T-Bird. Meet Me in the Middle. Centered on Thunderbird. Thunderbirds at the Crossroads. Midway USA. Something on the line of something for the Roaring 20s, since we're getting into the 20s. Then we got thinking about, we're in Kansas City, maybe do something along the City of Fountains or something like that. Trails west, because, we're the head of many of the Western trails. We have Thunder in the Plains, which was one, and then Bird's the Word. Last weekend, when we were talking, we kind of tried to work, when we were discussing last weekend, we wanted to try to come up with something that kind of reflected the 3-club endeavor of co-host. So since, you all are a mid, and so is Mid-Kansas, we kind of like having that mid in the title somehow. We kind of lean towards that meet me in the middle, since we are in the center of the country, and we're about as easy to get to as any location in the United States for everybody to come to,
right.
equal distance. We kind of like that idea. But we wanted to also, before we get too far committed, to get input from our 2 co-hosting clubs, if you've got any input or any thoughts. So that's kind of where we're at. But Mary and Tim and Kate and I really kind of, more we played with that meet in the middle, the more we liked it.
and we even put together a logo of being a bullseye or a target or whatever you want, a target, Cliff.
Yeah. Yeah, we thought we could use a bullet board as the dart,
Yeah.
something along that line. We also had a lot of fun with Bird's the Word, but not all of that is, maybe so appropriate as a.
Lot of singing going on.
Yeah, Catherine's singing all the time.
Well, everything I thought of did have to do with meeting in the middle, but I couldn't come up with any solid ideas there, but I think it has to be something like that.
Yeah. So, we thought we could do, for the logo, we could do the dartboard with the Thunderbird, or we could put, kind of the United States and have the outer perimeter smaller and kind of enlarge the central states. I don't know. We'll come up with something. We'll come up with several ideas and throw them around. You know, any thoughts, Tim? I mean, that's kind of where we came from, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I like the United States and having roads come towards the center. You could do that, and you could actually have 4 Thunderbirds converging on the center, meet me in the middle kind of a thing. So that would work out well.
Yeah, and you just have to think about stuff like that, maybe fitting on a t-shirt or fitting, you know, how it's gonna look on a portrait style thing for the scoop or whatever, you know.
Right, yeah. I mean, Tim Punt and I've come up with several of these over the years. Somehow, some way, they always derive.
Yeah.
Generally bounce it up, you know, off at 3 or 4 people. You come up, it just kind of happens, you know.
It always starts like this, and then Larry puts it on paper, and we make a few little changes, and
And we're off and running again, you know.
Yeah.
So,
those are good ideas.
so meet me in the middle. Sound all right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I like
I
it.
think so.
Well, won't we run with that? And we'll just tell Rod that's what we're doing. Well, that allow publicity to get. I mean, you know, we get some of this going, then a lot of this other stuff will break loose. But until we kind of have an idea what we've got as a theme.
Yeah,
know.
I think, and it's great that we could get it tonight because, like you said, there's 7 weeks till July 1st. Well, that gives us the full amount of time to develop something. So
Right. So,
I think us is you, Larry.
okay,
we
that's
can-
fine. I mean, I can start coming up with some sketches for logo and, you know, we'll just pass them around and see what everybody thinks.
Yeah.
You know, give your
I'm
honest
sure you'll
opinion
have
or
plenty-
criticism.
I'm sure you'll have plenty of help looking over your shoulder there.
So,
All right.
all righty, we'll do that.
That hash
Okay.
that enough then? Awards. Right now, we don't have a definite chair for this. Rod Wake said he'd serve, Larry did, I will. We'll have to come up with an idea. One thing was waiting on our theme or logo to see if it could play in any way to the award. Rod has suggested that I needed to contact Dale Brock, that he's helped with some of the awards at the internationals before. I still like the idea of what we did last time with our awards and a picture of the car.
Yeah, I did too.
I'm gonna check and see if she is still running. I haven't talked to her for over a year. Still running the trophy shop. She got it back.
Oh, she did.
Yeah, and sale fell through, and that happened almost 2 years ago, probably because when I got the last President's Award, she was back running the shop and stuff. I don't know, full-time deal for her, but she has been. I'm sure we wouldn't want to put the pressure on her to do it like we did last time, to get the awards, you know, done after the judging and over there. But if Tim Dorr was up to taking pictures of the cars and being able to provide them again, I was thinking maybe we could work out an award some way that we'll know cars being judged, what division they're in, and the people's names. We could have awards already made up with the names and everything on it. If we could just figure out a way for a place to put in a first, second, third, or whatever.
Yeah.
And have those available already made up and just attach before the award.
Just glue them in if nothing else, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we did in 2018 up here. The trophy people, I told them how many classes we had and how many of each class we needed and so forth. How many first place, how many second place. And they just made up a sheet and we just tore them off and then stuck them on the trophy.
Right.
But that has to be done, you know, by the time the judging is done. And Rod, or I shouldn't say Rod, but
Paul,
makes it official, then you gotta have a crew putting those on the trophy.
right. But I don't know whether we could do, I was looking up here at the wooden ones we had last time, that we could work up something with our logo and everything. We could have a round spot already hollowed out or something that you just stick a first, a second, a third in or something like that.
Right.
And maybe make this work, but we got a lot of comments about how unique they were last time, and with the people's names on them, and the what division they showed in was personalized pretty good.
Yeah.
So we'll work on that, and then fundraising and shirts, caps, and judges hats. I know that Tim said that his contact on the shirts and everything had already been asking him when they was gonna have something so they could print some more shirts for him.
Yep.
Looking at business, so.
Yeah.
On the list, I know also vendors that we've mailed out to prior.
Yeah. I may.
Talk about that, Tim, and
Yeah, I can just try to update that. Here, the timing on that's going to be obviously after September for me, but what I plan to do after that point is update the list, and maybe I'll forward it around to all of us. So if you have any vendors you want to add to it that you're aware of, you know, and I always check places like the Scoop if there's any new ones in there, or any that I've become aware of out of car magazines, Hemmings, whatever, to add to it. And then along about December, we start sending out contacts via email or regular mail, however. So we get in the hands of these vendors by the time they start using or planning their budgets for the year. So we can get in there and don't get left by the wayside. So at that point, that's pretty much what that's all about. We just, and you know, we ask for things that are large enough sometimes for silent auction. We can move a few items over there. Some of it goes to goodie bags. Others of it goes to, we'll just have to see what they want to donate. And I try to gear it towards either a large lot of things or one larger item so that it can go to the silent auction. So yeah, one question I had was, and I don't know who's the best answerer here, we may have to ask, but do we want to get judges hats? Because I know for like 2018, they first said yes, but then Paul came up and said, oh, he had a bunch of them. So I don't know if he still has some left or not, but as we move into the end of this year, I'll need to know, do we want to have judges hats printed as well as just regular commemorative hats? So
I can make the contact with Paul and see if he's got any hats.
yeah, I'll make a note to contact him.
Okay, because that just saves us some money if he's got hats that can be used.
Exactly, because yeah, those will have to come out of our convention funds. So yeah.
Right.
And the hats run about, just to let you know, they run probably around $12.50 to $15, depending. That was, we had hats in 2018. So you're talking 3 years ago now. So it'll be 4 years in. So I could expect $1 or $2 increase probably. So, but, and then just so you all may remember, but the t-shirts and the hats and even the polos to some extent was a big moneymaker, because the t-shirts especially get marked up. I mean, even if we still sell them at $15, I think we end up paying less than $10 for them. So that's, and it's a 5-color design, and we pick whatever color t-shirt we want there. But in the last several years, 16, 18, and 19, I used the same vendor for the polos they did for New Jersey. The polo shirts were very popular, and people were asking for them after the convention even. So I think we want to consider doing those again as well.
Definitely, I like the polos better than the t-shirts, so.
Yeah. And we'll have an abbreviated logo on there. So when Larry's coming up with the main logo, we'll throw around ideas for a smaller logo to fit on a polo. So
Yeah, and they'll be embroidered on those and the hats,
right.
probably.
Hey,
Yeah.
Tim, the guy that I have, the member that I have that did your function as far as sending out letters to vendors and so forth,
Oh yeah.
I'm sure he'll volunteer to help out on that. So,
Okay. Well, that'd be good because we might split the task or something like that. That'd be
right,
good.
right.
That's good.
Okay.
I'll make a note of that.
So any other comments from anybody? Not, I think for, what are we, 15 months out from this, I think we're on a good track so far and timeline.
Yeah.
My opinion is that what we need to watch now is our deadlines. And we've already talked to save the date, July 1. We may have a logo for you and a theme, Tim, it sounds like, rather than just something generic for the scoop. Then the next deadline, of course, is November 1. And we've got to have pricing for registration, banquet, tours, shirts, and caps for Cliff prior to that.
Yep.
For getting in, we also have a entree choice on the banquet. They'll have to go on the registration form. But sound like probably what the tours is the one that'll have to work the hardest here right away and get some pricing ideas of the tours and then contact the transportation companies and everything to work up a price. But I want to see us, and I think we all do, whatever we work up on our pricing, we build a little cushion into it. If things change, don't meet our quotas, we're still responsible for that bus and so on. So, you know, you see what the registrations have been on each coast the last couple of times, East Coast, now the West Coast. So we'll be cheaper than that. We can still make a good cushion on it. Larry, you can keep me and the others informed about the international. You know, I made hotel reservations, but I told Ben we're gonna wait the last minute on registration, and
Yeah.
unless it opens up a lot, we probably won't go. Probably still take our vacation to Yellowstone and stuff, but we just won't go on to Portland.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's still kind of sketchy with all of that lockdown they have out there. So
Well, we
Well,
had two directors basically say they weren't going, and then another one said, "Why don't we just call this off now? It's not going to happen." And you know, that's when Tom stepped in and basically said, "We just can't do it at this early a date." So I'm
Yeah.
sure what his concern is, and even if it goes, I suspect they got a high concern. They probably not going to meet their quota on the hotel.
yeah,
Yeah.
probably not.
And so, you know, there may be, we may need to pass the hat just to help them come out of the hole, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's worse out there than what it is here. Now, two of the big events that we have in town in the Twin Cities here is Back to the 50s. Super big car show. Tim,
Right.
you can do it.
Yep.
And then the state fair, they just canceled Back to the 50s.
Oh,
And they're still debating about the state fair. And I tell you, those two events really cost the state a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Back to the 50s is a great event.
Yep.
And it's in a great venue, and it's a shame that I hadn't heard that they'd canceled it, but
That just came out this week.
yeah, yeah. Oh, that's a shame.
That hurts all the hotels and
Oh.
motels and everything else.
Oh, and eating and
Unbelievable.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's a snowball, that's so to speak.
Well, if it happened to be that there's not international for 2 years in a row, we ought to have a land blast.
Yeah, that's kind
exactly.
of what I'm hoping for. I mean, not that like I said, everything I'm seeing right now, I think the Portland one is going to be a weak turnout no matter what.
Yeah.
I think people aren't comfortable traveling. I mean, it'd be weak to some extent just because of location. Because it's, they only pull the western half of the United States for the most at best.
Right.
So,
Larry, have you heard of a break, drop dead date?
no,
Okay.
no. I suspect that has to do with the hotel contract.
But I mean, if you're waiting around to make reservations to come out there in June for an August meeting, that's really pushing it for a person who used to travel a lot.
Yeah,
Gosh.
Yeah, by then airfares will be higher.
right.
Oh, yeah. And when you get
Probably-
people in the middle of the country, it's going to be primarily flying or driving. They're just not, and maybe not their Thunderbirds.
Yeah, I'm not gonna take the Thunderbird, but probably their contract, Tim, is like ours. The governor out there has said, what I read was they'll make a decision again in 3 weeks of how long to extend it and so on. But once the governor makes a decision that it's extended up to the dates of the convention, probably then they can cancel it without any penalty.
Right.
What the guidelines are. So once they extend it past to that date or past, then they won't have to incur any penalties. They probably call it off, but
Yeah. Okay.
It makes sense for them to wait.
Well, that's basically what Tom said in the email the other day. He says, we can't pull the plug this early. We being, the Northwest
Regional.
Club.
Yeah.
for the only comment I got left then, who wants to contact Rod about the tours and the suggestions and the theme and so on?
Well,
You want to, Larry? You want me to, Tim, or who?
I think, why don't we just, if it's all right with you, Scotty, let you be the main contact between the three clubs from us,
Okay,
if that's okay. Because you've kind of been doing it, and that way we've always, I think if we have one contact person for each club, we're going to be better off than getting
Yeah.
too many. We're liable to miss something if we get too many people involved
yeah. So
in
did
intercommunication.
Is
Scotty,
that okay with you, Cliff?
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
did you get all the things written down that we were talking about for the tours?
well, what I jotted down was the Truman Library, Truman Home, the Wagner Home, Pettis Square, Steamboat Arabia, World War I Museum, and Armacost
Yeah.
with dinner possibly.
Yeah, that's what I had too. So, okay, that's good. I didn't know we were talking about them all over there. So I just wanted to make sure that
And
we had all that.
the theme then is, what'd you guys say, meeting in the middle or?
Meet me in the
Meet me in
middle.
the middle.
And we'll let Larry and Kate work out some renderings of what a logo might look like.
Yeah, if anybody has any ideas, throw them at me. I'll sketch them up. And we'll go from there.
Yeah, you can use what the New York, I think it was the New Yorker, when they did New York City, and then everything west of New York City was minuscule and jammed together. And so
Yeah,
you can use kind of the same idea for meet me in the middle.
right, right.
Yeah.
One of the construction companies I used to work with a lot made every year they made what they called Turner City. And it was all the projects they did that year,
Oh.
all in one painting. It was,
Oh,
you know, so
Okay.
we'll do something like that.
Good.
All righty.
all right.
Appreciate it, everybody.
Yeah, good meeting.
Appreciate everybody's time, and I think we're on our way.
This worked
Okey-doke.
good.
I'm gonna pull the plug.
All
All
right.
right. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
Good
Yep.
night.
See y'all.
All righty, bye-bye.
Bye.